Good morning, everyone. Today I will discuss about screw fastenings. First, we will discuss about the various types of screw fasteners, and then that is nut and bolt combination, and then we will move to types of nut and then types of bolt. Okay, so we will start with a definition of machine. A machine that is assembly of different parts, as we know that has definite this one definite definite order used to transfer energy for doing some useful work. First, a machine assembly of different parts. It means there are more than one part, and many a times like aeroplanes, it has millions of parts. Even millions of screw sets are there, rivets are there. So that should be fastened in a definite order, that is sequence, and that is used to transform some energy for doing some useful work. This one is the requirement for the machine. So to join or hold two parts together, we have to sorry, we have two way. First one is by temporary joints, and second one is permanent. So permanent joint means when we are going to join two parts. This say this one part A and part B. This one. So we need to bring them together, and then we will join some means. For here, if we are going to do welding, then we will do the welding, or we will do the welding here this way. So in this way, this joint is fixed, permanently fixed. So it is called welded joint. Or we can go for the riveting operation. We can go for the riveting operation. So we need to first, if the plates are thin, then we need to drill hole, or if the plates are thick, then we need to drill hole, and then we need to align these two hole in each. We will drill hole in each part, and we will align it. It means we will put both holes at the top of each other, and then we will insert a rivet, and we will hammer the head of the rivet, and by putting at the anvil, and it is fixed permanently. So if we have to remove part 1 and part 2, then we have to either cut the rivet, only then we can remove it. So this is why it is this one is also called permanent joint, because it is permanent, we cannot disassemble it. Another one is temporary joints, where we use screw joints, keys, quarters, and pin joints and pipe joints, where these joints we will pair either in the form of temporary or semi-permanent, and we can easily, or with the in little time and with little amount of force, we can disassemble it. So we will temporary joints, as you know, joint is strong, but in the manner we can disassemble the part, it is called temporary. Here in the temporary joints, we can easily disassemble the part by unscrewing the nut bolts, or removing the keys, or removing the quarter or pins, or in the pipe joints we can remove. So these are kind of joints we can, in shorter time, in say few minutes, we can remove it. But for this permanent, we need more amount of time and more force required here. So that's why it is called temporary. It is, we can quickly and easily disassemble it, disassemble the parts. Okay. So first we will talk about the, here what we are going to study today, that is belong to the temporary joints. So first one is screw pair. There are two types of screw pair. First one is nut and bolt, and second one is nut and screw. If we So mainly there are various types of nut, but generally we use either hexagonal or square type shape of the nut, and some other form of cylinder, other forms also used. But we will see that in general application we use the hexagonal nut, and in certain application we use square nut. Okay, so why these two type of nut? Series to rotate the square nut. Okay, for a moment, to rotate it, suppose this is the axis of the bolt. So if you are going to lock it, so this face I am talking about, this side, right side face, and this one, if you observe from this side, this one is left side face. If you are going to screw it, so you have to take the either wrench or spanner here, hold it, and then you have to rotate it how much to turn this face to this side. We need to rotate 90 degree, so we need to rotate 90 degree by the spanner. Okay, but what we have to do the same thing if you are using it, this one and this one. So to turn one face this side, how much we have to rotate? Only 60 degree. So this is easier to rotate in comparison to square nut. So that's why we see in general application we use hexagonal nut. Now I will discuss about what is prism. Prism has essentially two end surfaces. Now, so a prism will have two end surfaces and then the side faces. So if let's say triangular prism, what does it mean? It means we have two triangular end surfaces, and this corner is joined with this corner is joined with this corner, and this corner is joined with this corner. So it has lower that you can say bottom and top. So these are two parallel surfaces or faces. So we call them end faces, and these are the side faces, three side faces. This side, and this side, three side faces, and top and bottom two end faces. So based on the end faces, we classify the prism. This one is triangular prism. So can you guess how the square prism will look like? Yes, you have imagined correctly. It means it will have a square base, and then like this, and then it will have another at the top, it will have another square base or square end, and then it has four side faces, this one, this side, and this side. These are the four side faces, and this one is the height of the prism here in the case of. So generally that's how you see the hexagonal prism, two hexagonal end faces and six side faces. That's how we call it the hexagonal or square or triangular or pentagonal prism. Okay, so next is, okay, let me tell you one more thing here. You see in this hexagonal nut, what you see, this, Hmm. We need to cut it. So here, see this. I was talking about the hexagonal, about the prism. Now let me discuss about pyramid. So pyramid has one base. Base based on the base, the pyramids are classified. One base and one apex. So this you can call it apex. So pyramid has one base and one apex. You can take one base in any shape, and there would be one apex. Okay, so it would be here somewhere. Mark it as apex. Apex here. Wait a minute. So I was discussing about the prism. Now I will tell you something about pyramid. So pyramid has one base and one apex. So you take it as a one apex here. So we will join apex with the all the corners of the and face. You can, this one. Okay. So we will get the side faces, and this one is bottom or end face and one apex here. So this is way the same way we can get the pentagonal pyramid and hexagonal pyramid. Okay, so here we are going to use prism property. So we will have hexagonal and square pyramid, not pyramid, square prism. So for hexagon, why we don't use other types of shape? Actually, in certain application we use octagonal prism shape for the nut, and many cases we use cylindrical nuts. We will see as per our requirements we have developed the nut types, but in general application this hexagonal is used. Hexagonal shaped nut is used. So you see in hexagonal this, and then you see. So I was talking about this nut, hexagonal nut. I was discussing why don't we use other types. In some cases certain types are used, but not the always. So how do we cut the threads, internal threads here? By using tab tool. So as you know, the external threads are cut on the lathe machine or on the die, while the internal threads are cut by tapping tool. So internal threads you see. What I wanted to discuss one more thing here, the chamfering at the top. You see this is some curved portion here all around. So it is actually like this. If this one is top surface, so there is a, and this is the hole where we have cut the internal threads. So we have chamfered it like this, like this. Remove that part. We have removed that part all around from the top. That's how we have got this one. So it is generally made either 30 degree or 45 degree from the top. There are certain objectives because first one, if we have to use more than two nuts, so it will lock it. If you are going to use more than two nuts and we are uh, putting one nut above the another nut, so what will happen? It will lock it. The movement between nut can be locked by the side faces. Okay. To avoid that, first we tapered the this way. We tapered the that chamfering. It is called chamfering the top surface. Second one is in generally many times we have to you put the nut by our hand. So if there is corner edges in both sides, so it will be difficult. It may cut the hand. So for the safety purpose, a small chamfering is given and it protects the worker. So that's how we get it. Again, due to this chamfering, it is easy to identify in which way you have to put the nut. Okay. Next, uh, next is cylindrical nut. So you see cylindrical nut here. What do you see? A shape here. Shape for the cylindrical hexagonal cut. Okay. So this can accommodate the spanner. Okay. And you see this side internal thread, so it can lock the nut. So bolt or screw this side, and to open or close it we have to insert the body of the spanner inside the here inside the nut, so that we can open it by this offset spanner. It would be the solid spanner, so we can open or close it. So external surface shape is this shape is cylindrical, so it is called cylindrical nut. Okay. Next, this one hexagonal nut drawing requires a lot of time, and I will make a separate video for that. And for hexagonal drawing and square nut drawing, I will make the separate individual video for the square and hexagonal nut. Let's discuss the types of nut for the special purpose. So come to the flange nut. This flange nut, see this flange nut. You see this extended portion. This is called flange. Whenever we will get this type extended portion of the body, this becomes flange. It is forged on the nut. So during manufacturing, this part is flanged on the nut, forged on the nut. So what is the objective of using flange nut or this small thin disc forging at the end of the nut? First objective is to increase the bearing surfaces or bearing area. So if the nut is being, obviously if the flange is this side, so what would be this side? So this side would be the end of the bolt, and this side would be the head of the bolt, or some other part will be there, and bolt is coming from this direction to this direction. This is the end of the bolt. Okay, so by using this, we can increase this the bearing surface area. And another example, so that pressure is reduced on the thread. Next is uh, yes, see this, uh, this is the nominal diameter of the bolt. Sometimes, and where we will use the bolt, obviously in some groove, not groove actually, obviously some in hole. So size of the hole can be differ. It is not necessarily the exact size of the diameter of the thread or bolt. So if the diameter of the hole is somewhat larger, then still we can use a bolt along with the flange nut, because the flange will give the more surface area than the whole size, and that will lock the surfaces. So for that head side we need to use a washer, and for this side we need to use flange nut. Next is cylinder nut. Generally this type of nut is used where we have to open from the top. Okay, okay, now open from the top, or there is no space to rotate open the bolt from the sides. Generally how do we open the nut? Actually we from the general application is we open the nut from the side. Okay, but rare cases there are some limitation, we cannot open it from the side, or we cannot reach out to directly from the side. So we use extended part, and we open it along the axis of the bolt or nut. So in that case the cylinder nuts are provided. Due to cylinder shape, it can accommodate in smaller spaces, and we can open it and lock it by this side. So one side internal है, and one side it has this shape. Okay, I hope it is clear. We will see in, in an example. So it is also a cylinder or caster nut. Next is this one is cap nut. Actually the shape is like this one, like this. So here some, you see the depth, you see the thread length. Here thread is going inside, internal threads. Obviously there are threads here, and then after some distance there is no thread, in between this space, in this space, and this end is like this. So it is called cap thread. No, sorry, cap bolt. Sorry, it is called cap nut. So what is the objective of using this? Generally it is used where we have to protect the bolt from the corrosion, and to stop the leakage from the in through the threads of the nut and bolt. So by using the cap nut, this one is completely enclosed. It is not like hollow through, generally what we saw in here in square or hexagonal. Let me show you here. This one is hollow throughout, but this one is also hollow throughout. but cap nut is not hollow. Here it is closed. Metal surface is there. So only nut can go this way, and there are some application like steam and oils that seepage, that leakage through the threads. So that leakage through the thread. So if you are using this type of nut, it will stop the leakage. Again, dome shape is almost the same way, but only the shape and shape is having this dome shape. Again, you see the main application hexagonal is there, so we can open it this way. Now, one more thing I would like to show you. This one having top surface, top part of the nut is having the octagonal section, and here this one is having hexagonal. So it has six faces, it has eight faces. So either we can use this one, or this one can be used to open or close the nut. Reason is sometimes we are having the limited space, so we will use this part of the nut to open it or lock it or unlock it, and if we are having enough space, we can use this one to lock or unlock it. Okay, I hope I have clarified this. So see this one, dome shape nut. Again, this one is also same as cap nut, but the outer shape is like this. And you see two types of here and here, hexagonal. This one is bottom one is hexagonal, upper is octagonal. So that is missing in the dome shape nut. But we can, as if we need, we can make it that two also here. Okay. So next is ring nut. You see ring nuts having this shape, and then in internal threads here, and grooves are cut at the side of the ring, this nut. So how we will open, like this? We will insert the and we will unlock it. So this type of fit in the groove, that is extended part, that will fit in the groove, and we will use it to rotate it. Again, you see wing nut. I am sure you have seen it in the hexa. What is the use of this nut? This nut is used to quickly locking and unlocking the. Sometimes we have to use our hand to open and close it frequently. So if you are going to use other type of nut, we will it will take time. So by using giving these two wings, it by human hand we can open or close it. That is why it is called wing nut. So typical application of nut, see in a here I will show you. Let me zoom in. See, particular application, this nut we cannot easily open this nut. Okay. Okay. We cannot directly open this nut. So to open this nut, what do we need? We need a tool that insert from this side. So cylindrical shape nut, you see the application of cylindrical shape nut, that is in limited space. We can insert the tool like this and we can open it. This nut, see, there is again limited space, but some space are there. We can utilize this space to open it or close it. Next is, you see here, knurling at the outer edge, and then again here to accommodate the wrench or spanner here, mainly spanner here. Here again simple wrench can be used, and you see the head of the bolt. This one is bolt, you see up to this length that is going. This one is nut. So this is being used for some certain application. This one you see hexagonal because we have space to open or close it. So no problem. Again to hold it we have some space, but not that much of freedom like this. So cylindrical. Again you see we have space for hexagonal. Then this one is bottom side limited space. So we need to we have to insert the spanner from this side. For this also spanner from this side, and for this also spanner from this side. See, for typical application of this nut, cylinder nut. Cylinder nut. So this nut we can only open it from this side, and sometimes when it is open, knurling operation has been done at the top, so that we can use our hand when it loose enough to pull out. Okay, so what are the washers? What thin metal disc and cut at the holes at the center, that is used to first give the to the bearing surfaces to the nut and bolt, and then this gives a platform to tighten the nut so that nut can rest on this perfectly and it compress the part perfectly. So I am ending here, and rest I will discuss in next video. Okay, thank you.